Hello and welcome to The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, this is a podcast where we talk about comic books, video games, movies, conventions, the things that make us broke throughout the week.
And this is the episode that you all deserve because we've been gone for the last week.
Yes, this is the mega episode.
It is a MegaCon episode.
There we go. That's the title of it. MegaCon. Done. Boom. For 2 minutes.
MegaCon evolved based on the Pokemon XY mechanics, right?
It just got some extra arms.
Some extra cannons, the tramp stamp flower on its ass.
Turned black. I don't know what
Damn
happened
you,
there.
Mega Venusaur. Why did you turn black and get a tramp stamp? But I'll still use you. It's going to be heavy on news this week.
Oh, yeah. Lots of news.
We haven't talked to the Brokettes in over a week at this point. So we had a nice little break, but it wasn't really a break because of MegaCon.
Exhausted.
Yeah, but we'll touch up on that. Actually, there's some controversy on MegaCon. And since, we are affiliated with MegaCon, so we do have our opinions on them. And we love MegaCon, and I will still say this until forever. It is our favorite convention.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But we're going to cover the news later on here this week. We're going to cover some of the complaints some people had and where some people felt like there could have been some improvement. But we'll get on that later on. The way the format goes is we touch up on some news covering from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. And we finally close out the show with some of the comics that we picked up for this week.
Yep, so we're going to jump right into news. First of all, Japan has chosen Pikachu and 10 other Pokemon as their mascots for the 2014 World Cup in Rio.
This headline should have been, Japan chooses Bulbasaur and friends for the 2014 Pokemon World Cup. Because it's not Pikachu. And
it's Pikachu.
No, it's not Pikachu. And,
I'm pretty sure it's
and
Pikachu.
Other Pokemon. No, it's Bulbasaur and friends.
Okay, Dan.
Bulbasaur is the Batman of Pokemon out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
you're gonna go that far? Batman of Pokemon?
That first Bulbasaur episode, what did he do? He protected the village, aka Gotham, from outside intruders and inside intruders. He was the only one that was protecting that motherfucking Oddish from Misty and Ash and all those other assholes. Like, he was like, no, you're gonna get to Oddish, you're gonna get through me. And he fucking backlayered Ash. And yeah, Ash backed away.
I love Pokemon, but Batman's still greater than Pokemon. There's not a Batman comparison in Pokemon, I'm sorry.
But if you were to make one,
then Batman would still be greater than anything I could think of.
And it would just be the Batman Pokemon. Holy shit, a wild Batman appeared. And he threw me in Arkham.
Game over. Anyway, I think this is really badass, because Japan does not give a fuck.
Yeah,
they're like, kids game? Nah, motherfuckers. Soccer. Okay.
Even there, it's football. But if you actually see the promotional image, it's a camera facing up the Bulbasaur and 10 other Pokemon. It shows them like huddling around in a circle, and it shows them all in their Japan jerseys, and it's all like professionally done too. Like it might as well have come out of the anime, like just taking a screen cap out of the show. It's really well done.
It is. It's great. I'm so excited. This is the coolest thing. Like, they could have done something normal, but they're like, nah. It's the year of the Pokemon.
Pocket monsters. So they did it. So now I'm rooting for Japan. Normally, every World Cup comes around. I'm like, let's see what Mexico does. Yeah, those little short Mexicans. They can never get the headbutts. And they're so short, but I will still root for them. But now it's Japan. Like, just a short, hey. Yeah. It's a smooth transition for me. This one would be more for you, though. Right?
Why is it for me?
Because you're the Disney person. All the Brokettes out there know you're the Disney
person. But okay.
Cars 3
and
The Incredibles 2 were announced at an investor meeting by Disney president Bob Iger. No word yet on the release date. Incredibles 2... People have been asking for this for years.
They're losing their minds.
They love this fucking first movie, and I'm still like, nope, Monsters Inc. better. And now Monsters U came out. I'm like, that might actually be better than Monsters. Like,
Monsters U was really good. They're both good for different reasons.
They're so fucking good.
They
like,
are.
Those are their two best movies, in my opinion. Like, people hold really close to Toy Story 3, especially.
I really like Toy Story. I will give it
I'm
that.
still going to stick with Billy Crystal and loving Sullivan. Like,
put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. I think I'm going to die. I don't know.
Someone asked me who the most handsome monster in Metropolis was, and you know what I said? What did you say, Googly
The most
Bear?
Beautiful, the most handsome. What are you
Yeah,
talking
that's
about?
what it was. The most beautiful monster in all of Metropolis.
You said the most handsome, but...
Because that's what he wanted to say, because at the end he's like, Sully? So I always liked the gay jokes in there, too. I thought that was great. Like, it was very adult of them to put that in there. And Monsters U, it was kind of like... You know, like you had mentioned, they knew that their audience had grown, so they put them into college. And it was still really funny and really good.
It was what I liked, and we're going off topic here.
It's still Pixar related,
But I liked that they didn't rely on the old movie to make Monsters U good. Mm-hmm. And hopefully they actually do that with these. I don't know, we'll see. I didn't really like Cars 2, but little boys flip their shit. Like, they love Cars.
Mm-hmm. Sold merchandise.
Yeah, it sells a lot of merchandise. And then they're making Cars Land in...
Hollywood Studios?
No, Disneyland. California Adventure.
Okay.
I think it's in California.
It's probably
somewhere.
right next to the Bugs Life thing. I don't know if you know that they made that.
No.
There's like a Bugs Life world where you walk into it and all the leaves are huge and all that shit.
It used to be Honey, I Shrunk the Kid at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
But no, this is, I mean, they're actually like, it's a whole section of the park and it's Cars Land, and they built the cliffside, and it's a roller coaster and all this shit. I don't know. So, it makes sense. They're going to make money off that. Incredibles, like you said, people have been asking for forever. Hopefully they'll make those characters grow up like their audience has now.
Yeah, we'll see.
I never really liked either of them.
Yeah, exactly. If we had a podcast back then, I would have been like, I didn't really like Incredibles, and we may lose even more listeners after that.
Unincredible.
Frozone was in it. That was Sam Jackson, right?
I don't even know. Not every
and
black
if it
man.
wasn't, now I'm racist.
I love when people take the pictures of Frozen and put Frozone's face over it.
Yeah.
Have you seen those? Oh, they crack me up. I'm like, Frozen!
But yeah, Bob Iger, some more news actually, more on the Disney side.
He also confirmed that Star Wars Episode 7 would take place 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
Do you know why this is convenient?
I don't.
Because Mark Hamill is like 30 years older than when fucking the last Star Wars came out. So now they can actually put in these characters and have them live on in this series. Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
You're like, the Joker's in this. I'm like, no, it's Luke Skywalker. No, the Joker. He's gonna fucking kill everyone. Like, there's gonna be some Joker gas in this fucking Star Wars movie.
Batman's gotta be in here now. You know, if we go to see it, everything that happens will be like Joker related. That's Laughing Fish from the Joker. Be like, Kelly, that's like a worm. Laughing Fish.
Laughing Fish. I don't know what you're watching. So that's great. I think, you know, it kind of relates to the recent Terminator news, and it does relate to this because Arnold Schwarzenegger said that there would actually be a reason he's going to be in a new Terminator movie. Yes. This is breaking news. Obviously, you heard it first here.
I heard it first here, so
yeah,
awesome.
See? Obviously. They're going to explain why the Terminators age. So they're going to explain why he looks older in this new Terminator movie. Right? So this is kind of like
movie magic.
Movie magic. Like, whatever explanation they have, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Arnold Schwarzenegger will be a fucking Terminator again. I hope he does that shotgun thing from Terminator 2. Like, that was the most badass fucking, like, probably impossible to do, even if you were a Terminator. But still, it looks so fucking badass. He's just shooting a shotgun with one arm and reloading it and shit. Like, they actually have to modify a shotgun to actually have it.
Well, yeah, because it's impossible.
Even if you were that strong, like, you can't really do it that way because the shotgun doesn't work. But it kind of relates to this Bob Iger thing. Like, 30 years in the future, and this is why these guys are here. Fine, we'll buy it, whatever. Mark Hamill's in it, Leia's in it, Han Solo, Harrison Ford's in it, of course. Everyone's in it, Carrie Fisher. So it's smart for them to be like, you know what, you're going to expect to see these characters in this, but it's going to be its own movie.
Right.
So we are kind of touching up on this, what made the Star Wars series what it is, but here are these new characters, and learn to grow with them. Maybe we'll have 6 more episodes, you know?
Oh, they'll make money off it either way.
Yeah, especially with George Lucas gone. I'm like, let's be honest here.
Are they going to get that same guy to do the posters? He should.
He should, yeah.
He should.
Like,
Those
get him
were
back
awesome.
in there.
But moving on to some more news, like we said, we got a lot. We should probably be moving on a little faster than we have been.
The Brokettes are like, I'm driving. I don't give a shit.
Fox has announced the Wolverine will get another film set to release March 3rd, 2017. James Mangold, who directed Wolverine, will return.
Did we see Wolverine?
I don't know. There were like 47 of them.
So, this Wolverine movie, one of the original endings, he had Wolverine wearing the yellow costume, just like it was in the comics. Mm-hmm. So this is a director that kind of wants to touch up on these comics. You know, at the end of the day, he ended up cutting that ending. But I think Wolverine made enough movie to warrant some kind of sequel. And that's probably why they call James Mangold back onto the project. I think this might be Hugh Jackman's last movie. I'm just throwing it out there. You know, this is 2017.
Dude.
He's one of those guys that you can tell is aging. You look at him in the new X-Men movie,
but
and you're like,
he still looks fucking great.
He does, but you're like, Wolverine's supposed to be like,
no,
he's supposed to look the same.
Women don't care. Women will see it because Hugh Jackman is in it, and I don't know how he gets those muscles.
You know what? You know what he does, right?
He doesn't drink water or some bullshit, but oh man, those muscles.
I know the answer.
Okay, what's the answer?
Because I've seen the commentary and all that. Actually, before any scene that he's doing where he's supposed to be like breaking out of something, he actually does 25 push-ups before they're about to hit, because all the muscles start pumping and all the blood comes out, and that's when he makes them look bigger. So when they're filming, they're like, "Oh, look how big he is!" And you know, obviously when he cools down, he's not quite as big. But that's smart. Like, he just sits down, and he does the 25 push-ups, and he gets out of breath, and then when he does the thing, he's like all like the veins pop.
The man
it's
is
smart.
a genius.
Yeah, it is smart. Yeah,
give that man an Oscar.
I wonder if he did that for the fountain, like just for those scenes where like when he's like, "Oh, Shibalba," like he's just let me do 25 push-ups. Hold on.
Still looks great for his age, though.
He does, yeah. If any Brokettes, long-time listeners know that Hugh Jackman's one of my man crushes, so.
He's one of my man crushes, too. But you have weird man crushes, too.
I do not have weird man
Don't you
crushes.
have Daniel Craig, isn't he?
Yeah, Daniel Craig and Hugh Jackman. Both.
And, like, Conan O'Brien.
And well, no. It's, what's his fucking face from the news? Shit, I forgot his name. He has, like, the white hair. He's on the news.
Really? Him?
I forgot his name. Like, the people... He's actually... he's a gay guy. He recently came out of the closet.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Damn it. Oh, this is going to bother... Because I know I've talked about it on the podcast. I talked about it on the podcast,
I don't know who you're talking about.
Anyway, Hugh Jackman, Daniel Craig. Both older men. You know, it's not a weird thing. It's not like I went like, Justin Bieber's my man. Like, that'd be kind of weird. I'm like a 25-year-old man, and I'm like, I like this fucking kid.
This lady.
What was that picture?
It was Obama,
yeah.
And he's like pointing at somebody, and he goes, Justin Bieber is not a girl. He's a lady.
He's a lady. So the next bit of news here, actually fans of Arrow, Harley Quinn was voiced by Tara Strong, who made a small cameo in one of the later episodes here of Arrow. So Harley Quinn was officially a part of a show ever since Birds of Prey. She's back in a TV show, but it was just an Easter egg.
Yeah, guys, don't
let's knock it out of control
minds.
here. People are like, Harley Quinn's going to be in the Suicide Squad. No, she is not. Go back to sleep. Calm down. Relax.
Take a nap. But no, that was really cool. I wish they had gotten Arlene Sorkin.
She must have been sick.
Probably. She's been sick for a while.
Yeah,
she should go to the doctor or something.
She's not even in the new Arkham Knight game. I'm like, oh, what happened? She must be really sick. Why would they not cast her and give her some more fucking money instead of Tara Strong, who does not sound exactly like Harley Quinn?
She doesn't. And I picked out from that trailer the first time.
You are the you're the master. Master Harley Quinn.
I'm the splinter of Harley Quinn.
That's like your second super. Like the Superman loves Batman is a good superpower, but like that's not Harley Quinn. Is the other superpower?
Because I remember she had like 2 lines in that trailer. Do you remember?
Arkham City, right? Yeah.
Yes, Arkham City. She had like 2 lines. Something, B-man, something, I don't know. And I went, that's not Harley. And you're like, that's Harley. I don't know that's Harley. I'm like, that's not Harley. That's not Arlene. And then it came out that it was Taryn.
Yeah, like we actually looked it up.
I was right.
I was like, holy shit, Tara Strong? What? Raven? From Teen Titans?
Bubbles?
So yeah, Tara Strong did a small little Easter egg. It was kind of like a nice little thing for the Harley Quinn fans, and they showed the back of her head, and she had the pigtails, and it's like, okay, that's kind of cute, whatever. So it was kind of neat. If you go on YouTube and you type in Harley Quinn Arrow cameo, it'll pop right up. I put it up on Twitter at Reasons I'm Broke. You can find it on there.
And speaking of me being the Splinter of Harley Quinn,
yeah,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we saw the hour-long special, and it was amazing.
On Nickelodeon, bitches.
Yeah.
It is still the best Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show you will see. I will
great.
still stand by that.
Great.
Don't regret it. Don't regret saying it.
But the reason you wanted to see this so badly is for that last, minute and a half.
Yeah.
You rewound that 14 times. You were so excited.
Mm-hmm. On Twitter and Facebook, I was just like, if you like the 80s show, late 80s show, you will love this fucking episode. And I made it seem like this was going to be like that Turtles Forever show where it was just Turtles the whole time. But no, it's like the last minute and 30 where the Turtles pop up. And the reason this was better than that TMNT special, they actually got the original voice actors back. And they reanimated everything. And they had them each say a line. And it was just like this perfect ending to it. And even you were a little confused because I don't think you grew up exactly during that time.
I was a girl, Dan. I didn't watch.
You were a baby.
I wasn't a baby. I probably was a baby. When was this show out? Was I born yet? Anyway.
I was watching it.
Well, yeah, from your mom's belly button.
No, I was an old man then.
Okay, Benjamin Button.
But you were taken aback about Michelangelo, right?
Yes. First, so Donatello from this
the
show,
current TMNT,
voiced Raphael in the last one, or in the late 80s.
One, yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's Donatello. Why are you wearing the wrong color mask? What's going on? But then Michelangelo comes up to speak, and I'm used to Beast Boy Michelangelo,
right.
Which I know he's Beast Boy, but I never think of Beast Boy when I watch him, which is cool. Mm-hmm. I like that. Have you seen Beast Boy, by the way? The guy who voices him, he's like a hippie. Mm-hmm. Weird.
He's always laying on Tara Strong's titties. It's really funny. If you go on Twitter, that's all he's laying his head on.
Well, hey, good for him. Anyway, so then he speaks and he's like, "Hey, April," and I'm, who the fuck are you,
man? I'm like, holy shit! I forgot how deep his voice was. Dude, get some pizza. And you go back and you listen to you watch those old shows and you're like, they're kind of shitty, but
but you remember them fondly.
But you just think they gave these guys money again, that's fucking badass. Have them voice the fucking new TMNT movie, which we will touch up on later.
Yes, yep. Oh, actually, we'll touch up on it next.
Oh yeah, that's good formatting by me. I didn't even foresee my own formatting. So the first teaser trailer for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, produced by Michael Bay. A lot of people are confusing this. He did not direct this. He just produced it. Just like Steven Spielberg produced the Transformers movies. Yet no one places blame on Steven Spielberg for those movies. Just saying. First teaser came out. I'm not saying I'm defending it. It's out on YouTube. Put it up on Twitter and Facebook. What do you think?
I'm gonna take a nap now. I think it has some good qualities. I think it has some bad qualities.
All right.
First off, Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Really?
What are they doing?
I don't know. She's not even a redhead. Mm-hmm. Not even a...
You could have cast Gail Simone. It would have been a better April O'Neil.
Fucking amazing April O'Neil. Or you should be like, women power.
Metal chain bikini.
Is this retaliation because Lois Lane was a redhead in Man of Steel? So they're like, now we're gonna make April a brunette.
I guess Alex, one of my coworkers, he was saying that it was like Michael Bay making up a favor to April or to fucking Megan Fox to one of his future movies. I don't know. It's all politics, but it's not April O'Neil. I don't see her as April O'Neil. I just see Megan Fox.
Yeah, that's exactly what I see.
One fault. Boom.
I thought the turtles looked pretty cool. What little we saw of them.
Well, little we saw of them, considering, okay, if you're not going to do the costumes, which would have clearly been the better and cheaper option, maybe not. It probably would have been more expensive.
Probably.
But would have clearly been the better option. Fine. I guess they look alright. Look kind of weird, but... I mean, how could you have really made these turtles work in a real-life setting? Some people are saying the nose looks kind of weird, but that's because we're used to, the rounded-out nose from the comics and the cartoons. So you got to make them look like real turtles. If you're not going to give them the nose that they gave them there, you're going to have to give them like the beak, because that's what the turtles have. Like they have that beak that they break down the lettuce with, and which would have been fine with me too. Like give them a bunch of fucking wrinkles and all that shit if you want to really make this realistic. But that people really wouldn't have liked. So
right.
they kind of hit a medium here.
I'm happy they're not aliens anymore.
Right, that's true.
I disliked the way they made the trailer out. Like, you have that one bad guy, and he's like, we created these things. So it makes it seem like the turtles weren't an accident. Like, they were created. Which, okay, maybe it could lead to bigger plot stuff. But whenever I read the comics or, watch the TV show, the foot doesn't really do anything to New York.
That's true. They don't really do anything.
I don't know if they did once upon a time. But they never interact with any of the people. There's never the news. And in this, they're like blowing shit up and kidnapping and killing. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Are they fighting real gangs now? Because the Foot just tries to take out Splinter and the Turtles stop them. And that's all they do.
Did you notice what's-his-face was the same actor from The Dark Knight that had the grenade put in his mouth at the very opening of the movie with the bank scene? Where he's like, they're gonna kill you.
Yes!
That was the same fucking guy.
Oh!
Like, I knew I recognized his face, and until now, I'm like, that's the fucking guy from The Dark Knight. All comes back to Batman. All comes back to Batman.
Always. 7 degrees to Batman.
That's what it should be. Like,
yeah.
He should put Kevin Bacon into fucking...
Not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 7 degrees to Batman. That's what we're renaming it.
Some people were upset that the Shredder was actually a part of the creation of the Turtles. Because it's a white guy, not a Japanese guy, not a reincarnation story.
Wait, that was the Shredder?
Not the guy that's talking to April.
Okay.
Like, the trailer's a little confusing, but some people are saying it's actually a white guy that's a Shredder.
No, he needs to be Japanese.
Oh, yeah, I think it's irrelevant,
like,
though.
Splinter, I am Shredder. Not some white guy pretending to sound like I just did.
Well, I think it should be like the comic books, where it's like a reincarnation story. He sort of Ra's al Ghul's his way into the future, because that's what he does. He, in the comics, at least. Yeah, exactly. He kind of prolongs his life and comes back and continues, and that's kind of what the Turtles did according to the current comic, that the Splinter currently had like 4 sons and they all got murdered in front of him and so on and so forth, whereas in the original Turtles it was a rat that actually cared for these turtles that were also mutated along with him. But the way that they did this, it's kind of like they connected Shredder closer to the Turtles as opposed to closer to Splinter.
Right.
So, which, by the way, I want to see how Splinter looks. I'm really excited to see how Splinter looks because, honestly, like, I'm looking at the Blu-ray right now of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Back then, it was just like this puppet, and he didn't really kick any ass at all. So in this movie, even if it's a CGI rat kicking ass, I really want to see that. Like, you see it in the cartoon, the Nickelodeon series. Like, he kicks ass all the time. What's that fucking guy he murdered? Do you remember that?
Oh, the Rat King or whatever
Yeah, like,
his
he's
name
like,
was?
you go off this fucking cliff, asshole. Like, he fucking killed that guy.
I blindfold myself so you can't see nothing either.
Like, that was awesome. I'm like, Splinter just fucking killed that guy.
Did not give a shit either.
So I can't wait to see Splinter. Like, he looked great in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, or the movie, like, the big nose and the whiskers and every single fur, like, all the fur and shit, but... And here, I really want to see him, like, actually take some action. So, just like the rest of the internet, we're very mixed on this.
Right. I'm sure we'll go see it. We'll, give more opinion as it gets closer. What we like and don't like from what we've read.
Exactly. So you'll be most excited to talk about this one.
Yeah. Almost most excited. I got my other great news later.
There's a lot of great news in this episode, yeah.
Awesome. This is just a news episode. Green Lantern, the animated series, on Blu-ray. I think we talked about it a couple episodes ago. They released the full season, or full series.
2 seasons, yeah.
2 seasons. On Blu-ray. It was like $24 or something like that.
Yep.
It was cheap. Amazon has already sold out multiple times.
What do you think about that?
Make
Could this
more!
possibly be enough to bring a season 3?
I would love that. Or at least a movie.
A Blue Lantern Razor.
Yes!
A Yellow Lantern Sinestro.
Yes!
And a Kilowog going back to his lady. And
I would be in Shabalba at that point.
yeah, so sold really well. Okay, if we're gonna be honest, I don't think this is gonna make a season 3.
Probably not. Maybe a movie.
Maybe a movie. Maybe.
Like
Giancarlo on Twitter, he's one of the producers of Young Justice and Green Lantern the animated series. He's still like hashtagging like bring back Young Justice and Green Lantern.
Yeah,
so
he
it's
should.
like so he might know something we don't, right?
Doubtful.
But if they brought back Green Lantern the animated series, you would have all the Young Justice fans, and I said this on Twitter earlier, like yesterday. They'd be like, well, how come Young Justice isn't back? Like,
this is harder to animate, fuckers.
because you guys didn't buy the fucking Blu-rays. But that would happen.
Well, yeah.
You told me a little while ago that you liked Young Justice more than Green Lantern. I've always liked Green Lantern more than Young Justice. Which one would you prefer to return out of the two?
What's going to happen in Green Lantern Season 3? Do I get to see
you obviously
Blue
would see
Razor?
Blue Lantern Razor.
And would Aya come back?
She would come back, and then in Young Justice, you would have what they planned.
Starfire?
Starfire.
Would she be in love with Nightwing?
I don't know.
Okay, then I'm going to go with Green Lantern because it's a set that they're going to be in love. And with the other one, I could just pretend they're in love.
So you're going with the more sure option.
Yes.
Which show did you like the most, though, overall? Was it still Young Justice? They both
had different things that I liked.
Did you like them both more than Beware the Batman?
I think so.
I think so too, only because they almost got to Ra's al Ghul.
And then they took it away.
Like, they almost got there. If they had brought back Ra's al Ghul, and I would have been like, oh, this got really fucking good. But, you know, Green Lantern, you had Sinestro, and Young Justice, you had Batman, you had the Justice League, you had Nightwing later on in the season. Like, they just did so much with that show, too.
Batman kicked ass, too. And then you had the great Coco the Barbarian. What was his name?
Coco?
No. Conan O'Brien was in Young Justice.
Oh, the Flaming Sea. Yeah.
It was great. No, they both had different aspects that I loved. Going back and watching Green Lantern now, I think I may like it more because I know what's going to happen. So I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, that's why they did that. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, they're in love already. Like
they actually thought about shit ahead,
right,
way ahead of time.
The very first, the first episode where Aya has a full body and they're going out and she's asking if she's all in her pieces or something, and he goes, you look nice, and she goes, you look nice too. That's when it started. Boom,
and
done.
Before we didn't catch it, we're just like, oh, haha,
they're friends now. And now I'm like, they're fucking in love. Together forever.
Kiss her now.
or when the first time Razor meets Saint Walker.
Okay.
Before I was like, he met a new friend. This guy's annoying, but I like him because he's cool. And now I'm like, he's going to mentor you.
Right.
And then you'll be like him. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. It's awesome. It's a great show. But $24, buy it. You're going to be waiting a shitload long
Probably
time.
sold out right now. Go on Amazon, see if it's sold out.
Probably is.
Sold out multiple times. Like, I think that was the main part that we were most excited. Like, this is great news. Like, I'm glad people are buying the show. And it is the best version of the show. Mm-hmm. It's in full surround sound. So if you have, like, a headset or a nice television, mostly a headset, a lot of them support surround sound, put that on, watch Green Lantern. It's just phenomenal. Picture looks great. Full high definition. It's, of course, a Blu-ray.
And like you pointed out, the intro is not long at all. This is not House of Cards intro.
That. I love that. Like, we watched one episode and I'm like, oh shit, the intro's like 30 seconds long.
The intro's like...
Yeah. Green Lantern and Friends, and it starts. Like, I love that part of the... Like, we're just like, yeah, let's watch another one. Done. Whereas House of Cards, like, yeah, we ended fast-forwarding.
It's still going on. Intro never stops.
And Kevin Spacey. We're going to move on to some video game news at this point. Some screenshots for Batman Arkham Knight have released.
Yes.
They have officially shown the Arkham Knight.
Yes.
If for anyone that's confused out there, Arkham Knight is not referring to the Batman. It's actually referring to an original character written by Jeff Johns for this video game, who is going up against the Batman. Doesn't have a cape. Very similar structure to Batman. He has the ears, he has the armor, but he has the Arkham logo on his chest, red and black. And he uses guns. So it is definitely the anti-Batman. Very similar to Prometheus or Wraith. So I don't know if they can somehow make him different enough from Hush or Wraith or Prometheus or any of the other anti-Batman, even Red Hood at some point. I think this could be a very good character. A character... if you're not going to have this story written by Paul Dini, have a character that can actually hold his own. And
Right.
it sounds like Arkham Knight might be that character.
I'm really excited for it. Screenshots look amazing, though.
They do.
This game looks amazing.
And if you know, either one of us, we know that graphics are the very last thing we look at. The polygons to one section of Arkham Asylum equal to one character in Arkham Knight. So that's the kind of power that we're dealing with at this point. Like, they want to make it so that all the cutscenes are not a pre-rendered movie, but it's actually the game and the models and everything playing out in front of you.
Batman needs to swoop in. This is too much power. Shuts it down.
And related to that, too, is Kevin Conroy, like today. By the time you listen to this, it'll be a couple of days ago, but he's like, I can officially say that I am Batman in the new Batman game.
No, for like 2 years. God.
Kevin, just go be Batman again. Like, you're not fooling anyone. And I replied, I was like, I still remember when you fucking leaked that shit like a year ago.
Oh, Kevin. So excited for Kevin to come back, though.
Like, I'm like, why did you even put this? Like, I was laughing when I read that. I can officially confirm. I fucked up those last couple of times.
Those weren't official, but this is.
So if you saw the Arkham Knight, I'm going to put up a picture later today. Let us know what you think of the Arkham Knight. Do you think maybe it's, the Joker will return later on?
No.
Is it the Arkham Knight? Is it going to be Sharp? Maybe he perfected the Titan formula, and he can perfect his body, and he's actually going to be the anti-Batman.
Nope.
Sharp has to come. He has to come back.
Nope.
They said that all 3 games would come to this, their final Batman game. So
I think
Sharp is going to be in there somewhere.
It's going to be somebody we don't expect.
Maybe it is a new character. I don't know.
Somebody we completely... I think he's going to be tied into other characters, and maybe we've seen glimpses of him but it's somebody we gonna blow us out of the water, like Heavy Rain.
I think for sure it will not be... we will not see a Ra's al Ghul in this.
No, he died, remember? He landed on the spike.
But his body was gone when you come back.
Well...
But I still think, like, his story is done,
something.
like, it's gone,
Yeah.
whatever. Like, unfortunately. So the next bit of news here that relates to you.
Yeah, some more video game news. I completed A Link Between Worlds.
Kelli went between worlds.
I did.
And restored the Triforce.
I sure did. I was like, and now this is mine. See you later.
I've never seen you beat a game more quickly than you did with the Zelda game.
I did. I knocked this fucking thing out. And I just started playing out of nowhere, didn't I? I went into GameStop, and they had it on the little demo
unit.
And I was like, let me try this. Chopping some grass, breaking some pots. I have to play this. And, I mean, a week? Maybe?
It took you like a week to beat it.
And
like,
I don't have a whole lot of time to play this shit, but yeah.
I had it for free on my 3DS because I got the Link edition of it, so I got the free download, and that 3DS became yours. Like,
It did. I told you it'd be mine. I think I literally played it so much one day, I used the whole battery. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I played it a lot. But it was a great game. It was my first Zelda game for, those who haven't heard me on the previous podcast. I didn't really know what to expect, and it just blew me out of the water. It was great. It's a great jumping on point, really easy to pick up and play, and I'm not a very good gamer. I'm really bad. I just go around chopping things, and then I get frustrated. I'm like, die! And then I die, and then...
You do get frustrated.
I do.
There was one single boss that I had to beat for you, and I had never played this game, but I was just like, okay, it's a 2D game. I can probably figure out the pattern. I saw you play and you would get frustrated. Like, you're like, I just want to kill him. I'm like, no, you got to dodge his fucking shit. So I'd like go around, like take my time, and I'm like, okay, let me chop him a couple times. Let me run around again. Oh, his head's over there. Come back and I'd beat him. I'm like, oh, it's done. Like, we're finished here. I still got 3 hearts.
But no, it was great. A twist at the end that I didn't expect. Like, okay, the big twist I expected. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell you because you haven't played it yet. But then there was another twist that I didn't expect that I saw and I went, wow! And I probably shouldn't have been that excited, but I was.
So the Zelda game, are you a Legend of Zelda fan?
I guess I am now.
They're going to announce one this year. Mm-hmm. It's going to relate to Majora's Mask. You heard it here first on The Reasons I'm Broke. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be related to Majora's Mask. I'm going to call it right now. I don't think it's a remake. I think it's going to be a sequel to Majora's Mask.
That's awesome. Well,
and that's going to get a lot of you really excited.
Now that I have played Majora's Mask.
Will you play the next Zelda game that they announce?
Yes.
Whether it's a remake or a sequel?
Yes. Well,
All right, then.
I mean, I haven't played any, so I can't. I played the one, and now I'm going to play the other one. What is it? A Link to the Past? A Link to the
Oh, yeah,
sequel?
you're going to play the Super Nintendo one, right?
Yes.
Link to the Past?
Apparently, you can download it on 3DS. Why not?
Yeah, it's a really good game.
So,
really
yeah.
good game.
So, I'm going to play that one next. I don't care what it costs. I'm buying it. I think I'm going to play this one again on hard mode.
Good luck.
You know what? I'm going to do it. Towards the end, I was like, damn, motherfucker. Damn, motherfucker. My super sword. Now I know all the secrets.
I've never beaten a Zelda game on hard.
Really?
Never once. No Master Quest for me.
You know what? I will be the master. Then what, Dan? Whoa.
So good on you, like beating Link Between Worlds way before Pokemon. You recommend it, obviously. Is that your favorite 3DS game?
I don't know. Don't ask me tough questions. But I will say this, guys, and this is probably the most fun part of the game for me. If you know somebody who wants to play it and hasn't gotten it yet, talk about that shit all day long. It's so much fun. I have a coworker who really wants to play it, and I keep walking up and I'm like, and then I was like, shh, 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 break your pots, shoot my bow and arrow. And he's just freaking out. And he's gonna go spend $40 that he doesn't have. I told him how great it was, and he's asking all these questions like, how many hearts do you get? How many bow and arrows do you get? Unlimited BT dubs. I just shoot them arrows all day long. I'm like, oh, if I get close, you're gonna hit me. Whoosh, now you're dead. It's great.
Done got in the wrong range. It'd just be like
awesome.
Fucking. What was that fucking movie?
Bruno.
Bruno.
And Unst kiss you.
Unst kiss you. Boom. Boom.
Done moving inside the wrong range.
So, continuing with the video game news, April will have an excellent array of first-party Nintendo titles hitting the Wii U's Virtual Console. Here are the release dates and games. So we're going to alternate here. So April 3rd, Advance Wars, Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga, and Metroid Fusion, $7.99 each.
You're so excited.
Metroid Fusion.
His eyes are rolling in the back of his head like orgasmically right now.
It's like my favorite Metroid game. Love that game so much. Like, I played that on the Game Boy Advance, and it was so fucking good. It's kind of like Alien 3, I think it is. Mm-hmm. Might be Alien Resurrection, in which she has like part of the alien in her. So if you follow any of the Metroid history, a lot of it takes from the Alien movies, the names, the plot, and so on. So Metroid Fusion has something very similar, in which she has like the Metroid DNA in her, so the Metroids won't hurt her. Some of them actually heal her. And the gameplay itself is so much fun, and it's very easy to pick up. And now that you have it like on your fucking television on the Wii U, done, $8, very worth it.
We're gonna become an old married couple.
What do you mean?
Well, you know how you always see the old married couple and they don't talk. They just sit in the bed and the man reads the newspaper and the woman's got her book or something.
And she says something and he's just like, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're gonna be sitting there playing Metroid Fusion and I'm gonna be over here with my Zelda game. And we're just not gonna speak.
But we'll still be together? Like, somehow this still works.
Yeah, I guess. Moving on, April 10th, we get Kirby and the Amazing Mirror for $6.99 and WarioWare Inc. for the same price.
That's another one right there. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror, WarioWare on the Wii U with that gamepad. It's a lot of fun.
It's going to be
big
great.
Seller.
Yeah.
Right after that, April 17th, Super Mario Bros. 3 for $4.99, F-Zero Maximum Velocity for $6.99, and Golden Sun for $7.99. Huge for RPG players, that Golden Sun game. $8. Done.
That's awesome. We're going to be so broke. Finally, on April 24th, you get Yoshi's Island Super Mario Advance 3 for $7.99.
That's another that they're going to end it big right there. It's just a Mario title, $8. Like, it's just like
it's
these
like
are
an hour of work, sort of.
Like, one of the comments I read, and I made sure to put this on here, they said, so the Wii U basically is being turned into an emulator now. And I replied with, I know, isn't it great? Like, I'm going to buy so many of these fucking games.
Yeah.
Like, it blows my fucking mind how, okay, so there's no games for the Wii U. Okay, so here are these classic games that are fucking awesome and for like $8. Oh, so it's an emulator now. It's like, what the fuck do you want? Like, here's these classic games. Here are these new games. Mario Kart 8 is right around the corner. Yoshi's Island's on the 3DS. And now we're giving you these classic fucking games like Metroid Fusion and Super Mario and Yoshi's Island and Kirby and WarioWare for $8. It's an emulator now. And so I just spun that fucking shit around and I was like, I know, isn't it fucking awesome? Like, it's a fucking emulator now. Like,
what was that voice you just did?
Like the fucking trolling him. He never replied to that either. He was just like, he makes so much sense. So I don't know. It's just fucking the negativity behind it. It's just so fucking stupid. And we're gonna cover that too with MegaCon. I got another little like rant I'm gonna go on after that.
You're so excited for this.
I've been waiting.
Yeah, I was like,
holding
rant.
It all back.
Rant to both of our listeners.
So, Sony news.
Sony has announced Project Morphia, a virtual reality device for the PS4. While it's still in prototype stage, they have said that it'll have a full 1080p display with a full 360-degree movement.
What do you think about this virtual reality stuff?
I don't know.
So we have, like, the Facebook one. It's like...
Facebook has virtual...
Oculus Rift. They just bought it. And, like, their stock went down because they bought it. And then Project Morpheus from Sony, like, they were like, we're going to make our own, and this is going to be, like, the thing. Personally, I think it's going to be just like the motion sensing controllers. Mm-hmm. People are going to be like, oh, this is kind of cool. I can look around, and I can be in the video game. Months later, they're going to be like, I'd rather just not turn my head and actually walk around and just use the controller.
Because they're lazy asses.
Because they're lazy asses, and it's much more practical to just use a controller and move the fucking character around.
People, I mean, you've seen virtual reality thought of for forever. So I think it's gonna be overlooked for a while, and then somebody's gonna come out with that one game where it's like, fuck yeah, this was built for it, and it will take off to a degree.
A little while, yeah.
To a degree after that, and you know they will always find a way to improve it. There are people who are thinking about this 24/7 that are thinking of, you know, different things that we can't possibly imagine. And somebody will come up with something great. I mean, who am I to knock it? Stop being judgmental, Dan.
No, here's what I think. I think they will only perfect this, and I know this sounds like sci-fi, but maybe years later they actually do this, where they can actually plug into your actual mind, where you don't actually have to move around, and you're actually in the game as like a mental thing where you can actually think out these actions.
Right.
But when people think like, oh, I have to move my head around, eventually they're going to be like, oh, I have to move my head around. I just want to use just like it was with the Wii. Like, a lot of people, you'll hear it all the time. Like, I don't want to have to move my arm around. I just want to use a control. That's the way people are always going to be.
Stop
that's the
being
way it's going
lazy.
to be. But that's the gamer. Like, that's what it's going to be. They just want to use the controller. You just want to have the button right there to just use, and, you know, have the joystick, which is much more accurate than moving your wrist around or moving your head around in this case and taking steps. I think what you said, it's going to take off for a little while, and, you know, we'll just kind of forget about it until they improve it some more, where it actually plugs into, you know, your mind and your actions and all that. But that's, you know, it's way in the future from now. But, you know, it's going to make them money.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a step in the right direction. These are the seeds to what could be, you know, much better technology in the future. And either way, you know, it's exciting. Finally, we're going to hit up on some comic book news. We're going to start off with some DC news, actually. Through March and April, DC will pack in some prizes for the boxes of cereal. Hasn't been done in years. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, Honey Nut Cheerios, my favorite, Trix, Cookie Crisp, and Reese's Puffs. The cereal boxes will also include cutout accessories such as Superman's emblem and Batman's grappling hook.
I'm going to be on a sugar high for months. Motherfucking months.
Includes free comics.
Yeah. I don't eat any of this cereal. I eat Rice Chex. I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'll buy that.
Meh.
Honey
Nut Cheerios.
No, I don't like Trix.
Those are my jams.
I'm telling the listeners what kind of cereal I like, Dan. Give me a second. I like Reese's Puffs. I've never had Cookie Crisp. I wasn't allowed to because it was cookies for breakfast. That was kind of taboo in my house. Can I eat Lucky Charms anymore?
No, you're Irish.
Oh, so. That's right. I'm magically delicious. I need these now. Yep, I will buy all of them except for Tricks. And I'll probably mix them all in one big bowl and just
keep reading comics.
Get diabetes. I don't know.
Diabetes.
Did I ever show you that picture? It's a math question. And it says, Jimmy has 47 cookies. He eats 24. What does he have now? Diabetes. He has diabetes. That's great. Oh, Pinterest, I love you.
So that's kind of cool, like some cereal boxes and get the kids in there.
They're appealing to kids, but they're also appealing to the adults like us who are like, yeah, I fucking need this. Let me go buy some Lucky Charms.
To be fair, I do buy, Cheerios.
But, Cheerios is like an old person cereal, I'm not gonna lie. Kind of is. It's good cholesterol and all that shit. Lucky Charms is good for nothing.
You're good for nothing, Lucky Charms. We just tied off any type of partnership we could have done with them.
They're only good if you need, heart stars and horseshoes, clovers and blue moons.
All we have now is the Flintstone cereal, maybe.
The Fruity Pebbles or whatever?
Yeah.
How about Choco Pebbles?
Yeah, Choco or Count Chocula.
Oh.
They haven't gotten any love in a while.
Anyway, so excited for this. Go out and buy some. It's like $4 a box. Totally worth it.
More DC news.
DC Comics may be trying to buy out Dynamite Comics. On the Two-Headed Nerd podcast, Matt Baum said the following. I was in LA with a person, who shall remain unnamed to protect their identity, that works for Dynamite Comics. This person told me DC was actively trying to buy Dynamite Comics.
Pretty big. Rich Johnson from BleedingCool.com asked Nick Barucci, president of Dynamite, if this was true. His response was simply, no comment.
If this buyout does happen, that would give DC comics like Vampirella, Green Hornet, Twilight Zone, and more.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. Red Sonja too.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's
awesome. You can finally have Red Sonja with Batgirl.
How would that? She's in the past.
Doesn't matter. Gail Simone's writing all of it.
Okay, she would make it happen.
Gail Simone would be the glue to all these characters.
The glue.
They can put her in this comic. She could be a character. Okay, she'd be like the Watcher. We're gonna put these two characters together, and they're gonna be working alongside.
Inspiring women empowerment
in all of them, only to be all seduced by Batman.
Okay.
let's be true
no
here.
Problem. So, Red Sonja would be like, you're pretty limber.
Yeah, that's what she would say. Do you think this would be a good move for him?
I don't know a whole lot about Dynamite Comics. This is me assuming that Dynamite Comics is much smaller. This would give Dynamite Comics more resources that they could use by having DC, over them, kind of like Marvel did with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But it would also make DC more money because now they have
all these other properties.
A quarter more than they had before.
And it's not the first time they've partnered up with Dynamite, the Batman Green Hornet book.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you think, oh yeah, of course maybe they did try to buy them.
I really, really, really want this resource, this person who remains nameless, who works for Dynamite Comics, to be like the crazy janitor.
She's just making shit up.
Yeah. If I was a crazy janitor, I would totally do that.
I hope that one guy that was no comment had the sly smile, no comment.
He's like, we're getting publicity through all this.
And we're getting closer. What does that mean? No comment. This one was great this morning. I woke up and I was like, oh, this is a great start to my day. The Batman 75th anniversary has officially begun.
Woo!
Dun, 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 dun,
Let's just get wasted for this whole however long.
Yeah, hashtag Batman wasted.
Yeah.
DC has unveiled several plans for the rest of the year, including
Batman Day.
That's a fucking day. Batman Day.
July 23rd. It's almost my birthday.
Almost your birthday.
Almost my birthday. Batman Day and Kelli Day
all in one
are almost next to each other. This is so exciting. Okay, Batman Day will be on July 23rd. DC will partner up with comic retailers to celebrate the day with a special free Batman comic book.
It's almost like a mini free comic book day.
This is awesome. Except it's better because it's a Batman free comic
just Batman.
They're like, hey, Kelly, happy birthday. Here's a Batman day.
Batman can support his own motherfucking day.
What day of the week is that?
I'm not sure.
Do I have that day
We'll
off?
research this.
I need to request that day off, and I'm going to wear my fucking cape and cowl all day and go places. Just not even because I need to.
It's Batman Day.
Just
fuck you.
Why are you fuck you? Batman Day.
Batman Day. Punch out criminals.
I go to, like, the drugstore. I need to pick up my prescription.
Gotta go to a coffee store.
Are you sick? No, Batman Day.
There will be some Blu-ray releases of Batman 66, Son of Batman, of course, which we know will come out on May 6th, and Assault on Arkham. No release date yet, just summer of 2014.
Awesome, so soon.
Yeah, we definitely have some movies on the way, all related to Batman. This one I love, though.
Warner Brothers Animation will create 2 all-new Batman animated shorts to debut in April. Bruce Timm, from Batman the Animated Series, will work on one, and Darwyn Cooke, from Batman Beyond, will work on the other. Amazing!
I love this. Bruce Timm hasn't really said what this project will be. The last one he did was the Superman one from last year, which had Superman from all the different movies and animated series kind of merging into one another. So, like, you had the soundtrack change as the animation changed with the character. And they included the Superman, the animated series one. And it was just so wonderful to see this. And it was a great celebration of Superman, the character. Even us, who Superman is not our favorite character, we were just like, this was so well made.
Yeah.
Any Superman fan would love this. They included everything in this. And the fact that he's doing a Batman one now, oh my god, I cannot wait. I can't wait. And I can't wait to see him, like, just animate Batman the Animated Series again. Like, that's the closest we're ever going to get to, like, another season of Batman.
Yeah.
And then Darwyn Cooke, who's going to do a Batman Beyond short. So that right there tells me that DC values the Batman Beyond brand. So it's kind of like the Justice League and the animated series is just kind of continuing because Batman Beyond was a part of this universe. There's still new content being made, including a whole comic book dedicated to this universe. And with Darwyn Cooke behind it all, who we love his artwork. He's a great storyteller too, as we've seen in before Watchmen. He's going to do this animated short right next to Bruce Timm. It's just like something to look forward to. It's so wonderful that we have this.
You're like, I can die happy.
It's a great year to be a Batman fan.
Absolutely. One more thing that I think this is what you were most excited for.
Save the best for last.
Out of all of this, great to be a Batman the Animated Series fan. What do we have, Dan?
Some merchandise just released today. We got the motherfucking Batman the Animated Series logo.
On everything.
On everything.
Wallpaper.
Done. T-shirt. Done.
Toilet
Mug,
seat cover.
Done. Fucking iPhone cover. There. Right there his fucking face with the cape. That classic logo with the fucking red moon behind him. The only logo, the most iconic fucking thing, right there on a t-shirt. You can wear it. You can have it on your fucking body and walk around places. And it's all there. $45? Nothing. You know why? Because it's not just like a fucking screen print thing. It's actually a part of the t-shirt. So this is not going to be a t-shirt that fades over time. Either way, you were going to buy 2 of them. I was going to buy 2 of them. I don't know about you.
7.
I was going to buy 2 of them.
What do you mean 2? 7.
Oh, one wore off? Oh, I got another one right here. Not anymore. This is actually a part of the t-shirt. It's actually made with the colors and the material and everything. So that's why it's going to cost, $45 plus shipping. One of them has the Batman logo. It's all black. The red moon behind him. Another one has Batman Mask of the Phantasm as a t-shirt. How many years has it been since we've had a Batman Mask of the Phantasm anything?
Forever.
Like that, I still want a Blu-ray release. Like, I so wish for a Blu-ray release. The best Batman movie ever. Re-release that thing on Blu-ray. You know why I say it's the best Batman movie ever? It came out in film, or in cinemas. Like, a lot of people don't think about that. It was actually the very first Batman movie I ever went to see in theaters, and my mom went and she took me to see Batman Mask of the Phantasm. She knew I saw the cartoon and I loved it, and Mask of the Phantasm was kind of a dark movie, actually. You don't just take any kids to see it. But, I saw it and I loved it, and, it kind of comes back around when, like 25 years later or whatever the fuck it is now, and now they're releasing merchandise again for an old-ass man like me who remembers those moments and will buy this merchandise. Because it's not just the greatest Batman movie ever. It's a memory with a loved one or when you were a kid watching these things. And it's just wonderful for me because I never would have guessed that they would have ever brought back this kind of stuff again. And they did.
They went, y'all just graduated college. You got some money now in your new job.
And I'm like, I don't care. It makes me feel good.
I'll just be broke. I don't need sheets. I'll sell them and just sleep in my shirt. It's exciting, though. Really, we're going to be some broke-ass bitches.
You're like, oh, Danny's so happy.
You're going to have to go seduce, what's his name? Hugh Jackman. Get us some more money.
I'd rather go for someone more rich.
More rich?
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner?
Yeah, that's exactly what I went to, actually. Hugh Hefner. I don't know why that was in my mind.
Are you a Playboy bunny now, dude?
If that's what it takes, I'll dress as a Playboy bunny to get some money.
Next, we're going to announce the DC June 2014 solicitations.
Yeah, if you go to your local comic book shop, they should have a previews catalog. You can find these issues right in that book.
First up, something that you're gonna flip your shit over, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Batman and Ra's al Ghul, number 32.
The search for Robin is coming to an end. So here's a story, and we're going to talk about this later too, in which Batman is trying to get back Damian, his son, and Talia, his true love, his beloved. And Ra's al Ghul has both their bodies, and he intends to resurrect them. I don't know if Batman wants to put a stop to them. His goal is to put them at rest. I think Batman has come to terms with their deaths. But
well, beyond that, I think Batman understands that anything that comes back from the dead is not
gonna be Damian again.
It's not gonna be good.
But deep down, I really, really want Damian and Talia to come back.
Not Talia, but Damian. I'll accept Damian.
Both of them.
No, just Damian.
So, people hear us call it Ra's al Ghul. And why is that correct? Alright, so we had Neil Adams on Fat Man on Batman, Kevin Smith podcast, pronounced it Ra's al Ghul. He was a co-creator to Ra's al Ghul, and we said, wow, what? Even the co-creator pronounced it wrong. And like Batman the Animated Series said it Ra's al Ghul, obviously that's the right way. Denny O'Neil, who mainly created the character on one of the latest Fat Man on Batmans, he was like, oh, he was talking about Ra's al Ghul, and Kevin Smith said, so are we really going to get a definite answer on how we pronounce Ra's al Ghul? He said Ra's al Ghul, and then Denny O'Neil says, it's Ra's al Ghul.
He said he went to somebody, an expert on that
language,
region.
Right.
And they said it was pronounced Ra's.
Ra's al Ghul. So it's like, bam. I was still right. Neil Adams said it wrong. It's Ra's al Ghul.
Come on, Neil.
Neil, what are you doing? So Ra's al Ghul, it shall forever be pronounced Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn number 0, director's cut. Maybe your entry will be in there.
I would be so excited, but they got that and they went, the fuck is this? And threw it in a fireplace.
Harley Quinn number 0, they're going to include some extra pages in there, including some of the top entries to the Harley Quinn number 0 contest, which if you Brokettes remember, this is the one in which it had Harley Quinn committing suicide in various ways, one of which involved her in a bathtub dropping some toasters on herself, trying to electrocute. So a lot of people were saying, you're sexualizing suicide, and you're not understanding, like, you guys don't understand. It's a Looney Tunes comedy. Like, that's the kind of shit that you'd see in those kind of cartoons. And now that we're into, issue 4, almost 5 now, at this point, if you don't understand what kind of comedy they're going for, you're not going to get the book, and you're not going to enjoy it. So I hope that they do include the original entries with, the bathtub and all of that, including your drawing. Like, if it's in there, we're going to be signing some of these books.
Definitely.
And by we, I mean you.
I would take that book to the next MegaCon because Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti will obviously be there because they're there all the time. And I would have both of them sign the cover and myself.
You'd be like, hello, I'm Kelli.
Yep. And then I would get that shit CGC graded and I'd have them come witness it, right? And then I'd sign it. They'd be like, the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm in here.
I did this right here.
This is
artwork.
mine.
This is my page.
And it wouldn't be worth shit, but hey.
Great at this now. So we're going to be getting that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hope
Just
I'm
to
in
see
there.
the extra
I
pages,
won't be,
yeah.
but I hope. Next, we have Larfleeze's last issue, which will be number 12.
Yeah, I didn't really see anyone buying
I
this.
didn't know.
We still were like, why is this even a comic?
Yeah. What can you really do with his character? He's just greedy.
Yeah, you can't really do much with him.
I mean, is every panel just like mine, mine,
Pretty much.
mine?
Batman 66 meets Green Hornet #1 will be in this previous catalog, so jump on that. Written by Kevin Smith, drawn by Ty Templeton.
I'm kind of actually excited for this one, and I think it's just because I have the nostalgia of, our local television station used to play Batman 66 followed by Green Hornet on the Sunday morning lineup or whatever. So I remember as a kid, you watch Batman, then you watch Green Hornet, and then I'm pretty sure Wonder Woman, the old-ass Wonder Woman, was on after that. Mm-hmm. And then later in the afternoon, Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman came on. So I remember watching all of these, and, that was a fucking awesome Sunday.
Like all DC.
Yep, it's great.
Tiny Titans Return to the Treehouse #1. I think there's going to be 6 issues, but Art Baltazar and Franco will come back to the Tiny Titans universe. So if you missed it, It's back.
Oh, good. They're getting work. That's nice. Batman, Little Gotham, trade paperback, volume 2.
I never thought you'd sing that again. It happened.
You didn't think I'd sing it right there?
No, I'm saying I didn't think we'd ever have another Little Gotham thing because the last issue came and gone. Now it's gone.
We do.
Yeah, and now the figures, if they make another line of them, which Dustin Wynn said if they did it, he'd be like, yeah, we're gonna make these guys and these guys.
I cannot wait to buy those. They're overpriced.
Yeah, but we're still buying them.
All of them, twice.
Also, Batman, Robin, the Joker, and Harley Quinn, the Lil Gotham minifigures are in this previous catalog. At the most, a little over 3 inches tall, and $12.95 each.
Worth it.
Let's not make any mistakes. It's not $12.95 for the set. It's $12.95 each.
It's $4 an inch.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. But they come with accessories and little hyenas and batarangs and whatnot.
And they're Little Gotham.
Exactly. We're suckers. We're gonna buy each one of these.
We're broke. That is the name of this podcast.
Yeah. The reasons we're broke.
We spend money on not groceries.
And on fucking Batman 3-inch figures.
We got kick-ass statues.
Yeah, those are awesome.
But no groceries. There's no bread in the house. We just eat peanut butter out of the jar.
And finally, our last and final coverage on MegaCon 2014. You saw a ton of pictures on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr. So we're going to cover Friday through Sunday, Saturday being the most trouble day of all. So day 1, Friday. Very smooth.
Yeah.
Got in, parked, got into the convention here, let's pick up our press badges.
I stepped in some mud.
You did step on, yeah, that's true.
Ruined my Harley shoes. I know. I gotta wash those.
Okay, I was gonna say, did those ever wash off?
I haven't washed them yet.
Okay.
I've been doing regular laundry because I kind of neglected life for about a month leading up to MegaCon.
But yeah, day 1, how important did you feel, by the way, with press badges?
So
that's the first time ever.
Because everybody's holding up their wristbands or waiting in that long ass line. I'm like, pa-cha!
Just like that thing hanging around my neck. You just very nonchalant, not even very high. Press badge.
Here it is.
It was almost a royal wave. Here you go. And even the guy was just oh yeah, go ahead.
He didn't even notice.
He didn't even check our names, the Reasons I'm Broke podcast on there or anything like that. But the first thing we attended on Friday, the DC Comics panel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so funny.
We had Jimmy Palmiotti on there, Ethan Van Sciver, you had David Finch, Jenkins was on there too. Mm-hmm. It was a really good panel. We were very diverse. Those questions, though. God damn, those fucking questions. I thought what was funniest about that is people kept asking them questions about shit they weren't working on. And by the time the third question came around, which was about Shazam... No. It wasn't Plastic Man. The first one was Shazam. Then they asked about Plastic Man. The last one... Who the fuck was it? What character was it that hasn't been in the...
Blue Beetle.
It was Blue Beetle. That's right. Not the Latino Blue Beetle, but the older one. They were like, is he ever going to be back in this universe or whatever? And Jimmy Palmiotti's like, okay, none of us are working on any of these books. So we're just going to tell you, yeah, he's coming back. And you can actually ask somebody that's actually working on Blue Beetle if Blue Beetle's coming back. And they'll lie to you too. Next question. I was like, oh shit, that was awesome.
He was pissed. Yeah.
They'll lie to you too. Like, that was my favorite part. I'm like, yeah, fuck that guy. Like, that asked that question.
My favorite part was Ethan Van Sciver talking about
Transformers. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty fucking good. Like, he was like, they made this joke, like this adult joke in this movie, and I'm sitting there with my kids watching this, and he actually told the joke twice what it was. It was like a masturbation joke. And he was like, oh, wait, there's 8-year-olds in here. Like, he immediately realized, like, I can't
like,
tell this joke.
the irony. And he just put his head in his hands, and everybody laughed. Great.
And Palmiotti immediately, like, I looked at Palmiotti, like, he's fucking telling this joke right now with these kids. And Palmiotti looked at, I think, Dan Jurgens, and he was like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like, they're both looking at each other, and I was just like, this is so precious right now, because Ethan does not know what he's doing. And then, like, a second later, he's like, oh shit, like, there's some kids in here.
Great.
That was a good panel. I enjoyed it. In spite of the
great.
shitty questions and whatnot, it was still a good panel. We got some commissions done. Mm-hmm. Most of our money actually went to the artists at Artist Alley, and that's what we've been pushing the weeks leading up to MegaCon 2014. A lot of these artists rely on these conventions for their income. And, you know, that's what we actually did. We went out there, we saw some artists that we liked their art style, and we got some work done by them. The first one was a Green Lantern blank cover. We had Jamie Faye draw Saronic Natu on the Green Lantern cover. It was all fully covered, penciled, everything done. You can actually see it on our Instagram at Reasons I'm Broke.
We also had a Wonder Woman drawn by Sean Surface. He hit on me.
He did, yeah.
I liked him. Good for him. I walked up, he's like, oh, and who's this? He called me like a little piece of something, I don't even remember.
Yeah, Sean was funny.
I was like, take some more money. Thank you.
He has really good pencils on him. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a really good Wonder Woman, and that one I'm also going to put up on Twitter and Instagram. Also, Poison Ivy by Brett Weldell. He's actually doing a comic for Dark Horse right now. I don't know if you knew that. Oh. He did a watercolor Poison Ivy for us. It was my favorite piece of the convention.
It's
like,
beautiful.
the other artists are great too, but this was amazing. It was a great piece of work. If you see Brett Weldell at any convention, definitely commission him. He will make some amazing work. If you find him on Twitter, he put up a picture of Punisher as Mary Jane. So it's Mary Jane's face with like the Punisher outfit. It was also done really well. Another excellent watercolor piece.
And finally, we got a Stargirl by Mike Myhack. I really like his art. I wish I had bought more of his prints that he had. He had a really nice Starfire. Mm-hmm. I should have commissioned him to do a Starfire and Robin piece. But we actually have one of his artworks hanging in our kitchen. MegaCon 2013, we bought a Batman grabbing a balloon. Mm-hmm. And it's in oranges and blacks, and it's really, really nice.
He also did the Aya, didn't he? He also did the Aya.
Was that him?
I'm pretty sure that was him as well.
We'll have to look at the signature.
Yeah, he did an excellent... Either way, his work is really good. Mm-hmm. The Stargirl was awesome. You could also find that on Twitter and Instagram at Reasons I'm Broke. Also, I've got a good Neil Adams story. If any Brokettes know, Neil Adams was not the nicest when I met him, and I was just like, who gives a shit? You made Ra's al Ghul. You can be as mean to me as you want. Like, I showed him my Ra's al Ghul tattoo, and he just shook his head like, why would you get that? Like, and I felt so little after he'd said that, because I was like, oh, he's gonna he's a character on someone's skin. Like, I don't know, it would make him feel awesome, but he didn't give a shit, and he was just like, that's ridiculous. Like, so I had there was a guy that shared his Neil Adams story with me. He was going to MegaCon. He was asking me, if I was gonna get anything signed by Neil Adams, and I was like, no, I already got what I wanted signed. I got my first appearance of Ra's al Ghul signed by Neil Adams, and it was great. And that's when I showed him my tattoo. And this guy was like, oh yeah, Neil Adams. I've known him for years. I'm like, what do you mean? I've been to every convention, and every time I go there, I get some Neil Adams books signed by him. And I remember when he used to charge $5 and then $10 per signature. So I went up to him last year, And I brought 4 books to him. I'm like, oh, okay, you got 4 books. And I gave Neil Adams my 4 comic books to sign. And he said, $20. And I was like, oh, $20? $5 each? Neil, you've gone down in price. And Neil went, no, $20 a piece. And he was like, Neil, $20 a piece? Be reasonable. And Neil, this is my favorite part of the story. Like, Neil yelled at this guy, and he's like, just wait till it's $40 or $50 next year, just like Stan Lee. Like, he was berating this guy, like, fuck you, man. Like, I'm gonna make things worse for you next year. Like, I thought that was so awesome. And this guy ended the story with, like, Neil is an asshole. That was my favorite Neil Adams story. I'm like, that's so fucking awesome. And it's exactly like Neil. And we went to MegaCon, and sure enough, it was fucking $20 per signature.
Yeah.
When I got my Ra's al Ghul signed, it was $10 back then. And yeah, now it's $20. And wait till fucking next year when it's 40 or 50.
He was quoting that all weekend. That is pretty crazy, though. I'm going to scribble on your book and pay me $20. Mm-hmm. Like, really?
I created Rish.
Speaking of that, though, I was talking to a guy at work today. One of his friends paid $70 for the meet and greet with the Green Ranger. 3 minutes. They gave him 3 minutes. He took a picture. They did give him some stuff. Like, he got some merch. Mm-hmm. And he got an autograph. $70. For
the
3
Green
minutes.
Ranger.
And the guy I was talking about, he's like, that's kind of unreasonable, right? I'm like, one day he's going to be dead, and you're going to wish you did that. And he didn't say anything after that, because he knew I was right.
Damn, that's true, too. I'm like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, wait a minute. He won't exist one day.
And they'd be like, man, all this shit I got from him is worth, like, hundreds now. I should have just paid that $70.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not even for, like, the worth, but just the fact that you had that experience. Like, yeah, it's 3 minutes, but you've met the Green Ranger. Like, this guy that probably won't be anything bigger than what the Power Rangers was, and that's pretty awesome. Like, still. Like, Neil Adams, yeah, $40, $50. Who gives a shit? Day 2. That was the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic.
I like your other problem.
Well, that wasn't a problem, but that is something I want to cover.
That is a problem. Yeah, traffic. Out of control. Holy shit.
So on Twitter, someone was nice enough to update me on the traffic. Like, we were like, okay, so we're gonna leave in like 20 minutes. We're gonna hit the road and actually get to MegaCon. And then I check. I'm like, oh yeah, so let's update our status. We're gonna MegaCon. Blah blah blah. Hashtag MegaCon. I happened to check on what hashtag MegaCon was going on. And most people were saying, this traffic is ridiculous. I've been in traffic for 2.5 hours. People are leaving their cars and going to use the bathroom. People are abandoning their cars and just walking to MegaCon. I'm like, what the fuck? And one of the guys was, tweeting constantly about this traffic situation. So he was updating me kindly. Like, he didn't have to, but he was kindly tweeting me and saying, like, oh, we haven't moved. We've only moved this much, and it's been this much time. Don't leave for another 2 hours. Don't drink any liquids because you won't be able to go to the bathroom until you get there. I'm like, this guy's a fucking badass. Like, he's like my inside source. So, that's how I knew, like, okay, let's just relax at home for a little while and then, avoid that headache. And, eventually we did. We had to park at Point Orlando.
Yeah, it was like, what, a mile? At least, mile down the road? Because
MegaCon, they were out of parking.
Yeah.
Like, it was all gone.
What was it, like 12:30 or something they closed?
That was it?
The closed down parking. Convention opened at 10.
And then Saturday tickets sold out.
Yes.
Done.
So they completely closed down parking. They would only let you through if you had the 3-day ticket. And they weren't charging you for parking at that point because you're parking in the grass.
Right.
Like, ridiculous. Now, to put some blame on the convention center, they had a cheerleading convention and a Mary Kay convention in the same weekend.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Beyond that, too, and this is what I've been, because a lot of people, I tried to leave my house twice, and it was just too backed up, so I turned around and came home. Walking Dead, pretty much a lot of people from The Walking Dead were there. That is attracting people who normally don't go to these conventions because it's something that's so big right now, and everybody's watching. Exactly.
And even the Walking Dead panel I heard was a disaster because people that were waiting for hours to try to get good seats, once they opened those doors, everyone just bum rushed it, regardless of when you were there. So people that were there for hours didn't get the seats that they wanted, and some of them even ended up missing the entire panel.
Really?
Like that's pretty. Like if this was the Batman the Animated Series panel, and I would have been there for 5 hours, and I would have something that I would have loved that much to have people like have this event so disorganized that like I would have been upset too. But it's one of those things that you learn as you go, and you make improvements for next year. And MegaCon, to their credit, they've gone on Facebook and they've said, look guys, this is not going on deaf ears. We're taking all of these comments and all of these concerns. We're going to respond to all of them. All of these legitimate complaints. You're going to get a response for us, and you're going to know that we're actually going to make an effort for next year. This will not happen again. Mm-hmm. And I love that. Like, how many conventions do you know that will actually do that?
Right.
And it's not just because we were partnered with MegaCon for a while. It's actually, you go on their Facebook right now and you can actually see what they said. Go on there. It's legitimate. And you're going to see them actually address these concerns, and you're going to see these replies going out. If we actually send something to them, you may have gotten a reply by the time this podcast is out.
Right.
And it was, granted, it was only for Saturday, and you kind of expect that it's going to be busy.
Crazy.
But how many of those people would you say like had their entire day ruined because of this?
Oh, I'm sure lots.
Oh no,
lots.
I'm saying.
But I mean,
I'm sure a lot of them had a great time though.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You're gonna have those few who are, I missed my panel and parking was,
The guy that was updating on Twitter, like eventually the next day he was like, "Hey, did you ever get in?" Which I thought was sweet. Like,
oh, that is
like,
nice
I was like,
of him.
"Oh yeah, I got in, thank you." And I was like, "What about you?" And he's like, "Yeah, we eventually got in, and it was really crowded, but we had a great time. It was our first convention, and we loved it."
Aw, good.
So there you go. Like that's the magic
Hit
of
him up
MegaCon.
next year.
Right
We'll
there.
get some beers afterwards.
Magic of MegaCon right there.
Yeah.
And he put up pictures of him and his kids, and they were having a great time getting these pictures with these other cosplayers and these artists. And they only went for Saturday, the busiest day that everyone was having supposedly a miserable time in. But he had a great time. So it's like, that's testament of this guy that had never been to a convention, that just had a wonderful time in spite of the over 2.5 hours of traffic that he was in. Like, how great is that?
Worth it. We still, even with how late we left, we waited in a lot of traffic. But we went a secret way, and I'm not sharing.
That's smart.
Yeah, I'm not, because I'm going to go that way next year and avoid all that shit.
Speaking of cosplays, we called it.
Yes, we did.
Too many Elsas.
Too many Elsas. 10,000 Elsas. I think I saw one good Elsa.
There was Tubbins Elsa. There was the wig is kind of still showing the natural hair color underneath Elsa.
There was Dollar Store Elsa. That's a new thing I created, Dollar Store cosplays. I discovered all this. There was last year's prom dress Elsa. There were a lot of Elsas. There was my costume's too big Elsa. Threw this together last night Elsa.
There were way too many Elsas.
Yes.
I did not see one Saga cosplay.
I
That's
saw
where
one.
I was wrong.
No, I saw one. Remember, we saw him. He was being the guy, Marco.
Maybe we did see him.
We saw him.
But I expected to see a lot of them,
sitting
though.
down, eating our lunch, and I was like, there he is. And you're like, oh, I guess kind of.
The horns were kind of big.
Well, but we had that great one last year. Do you remember
Yeah,
them? They were
that
great
group, yeah.
last year.
With some cosplayers.
Everyone I found, yeah, and it was actually really funny because I was just doing it to be cute. Like, oh yeah, let's take some selfies. It turned out those pictures were better than when I try to get ones where they're either posing or with me and they're posing next to me. They look so much better. I don't know. I thought anyway. It was easier because... And it's funny because you see people walk differently at conventions because you're all walking and suddenly you all stop and there's this huge space in the middle because somebody's taking a picture of somebody posing in their costume, or you got people ducking out of the way. You didn't have that problem when you took a selfie with everybody because you were all cramped in together and people could keep moving around. But it made for some great pictures. I had me and the Power Rangers.
Right.
Me and the Jurassic Park man.
That was so spot on.
I think he was a little senile, too. Because I was like, can I get a picture with you? And he's like, oh, okay. And I took it, and he was cool. I mean, he was awesome. My when I flip the camera screen, it doesn't just take a picture, it counts down. And I didn't have anybody try to move in that time, which was awesome. The Asian David Bowie was a little confused too. Mm-hmm. But most everybody was really cool with it. They're like, yeah, selfies! I guess it's the thing now.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. I think I'm going to take more pictures like that. It was also more fun for me too, because when I go to show people those pictures, I'm not saying, look, I got a picture of this person. I'm like, look, it's me in the Jurassic Park man. It's me in the Power Rangers. It's me and all these Bulmas and a Vegeta. Like,
yeah.
It's me and them, not a picture of them.
That's true.
Which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and those are also up on Facebook and Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
You can find them on there. So with that, we can move on to day 3 of MegaCon.
Yes.
Another panel we attended, the Comic Book Men panel. That one was fun. I really enjoyed it. We were there early. Our friend Brian was there as well. Mm-hmm. He actually recorded the entire interview and threw it up on YouTube. So you can find it if you look up Comic Book Men panel, MegaCon 2014. I'm sure it'll pop up on there. But they talked about the show. This was before season 4 came around. They finally got renewed for another season.
Yes, like 2 days later.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was hosted by Thomas Mumm, who, of course, from The Accelerators, and I think he's a producer on Anne Bonny. More importantly, he directed the documentary that you can find on Netflix now of the artist that made the Indiana Jones and the Star Wars posters that are so iconic. Back to the Future is on there. Big Trouble in Little China is on there too. Great documentary. It's really, really fucking good. You can check it out on Netflix. But the panel was great. We had some better questions than the one at the DC panel. One of which I did ask. Like, I did ask if you were to get renewed for another season, a 4th season, which comic book guest would you want on the show? You've had Greg Capullo and George Perez. Who would you personally want to see? And they each answered like their own. Ming Chen wanted Jim Lee. Michael Zapsik wanted Adam West. Brian Johnson wanted Neil Gaiman. And Thomas Mumm called on me by name.
By name, it was so cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Everybody else was Superman shirt?
Yeah, like Superman shirt, Florida Geek Scene, like the guy in the black. And then with me, he's like, Daniel? Like, I was just like, oh, yes. Everyone...
Press badge.
Knows my name.
Well, did you notice, too, like, when he was, he started out the thing explaining who he was, introducing the guys, thanking everybody for being there, and he saw us and he pointed, he's like, hey!
And everyone that supported us, and he pointed right to Kelly and I.
I was like, yeah, we're the front row, bitches!
To be fair, Tom does know us. Like, for the last couple of years, we've talked. So, but it was still kind of cool for like other people to be like, who the fuck are they? Like, Daniel?
Because see, now they think we know the comic book men too, not just Tom. But we only know Tom.
But the comic book man paid attention like, oh, Tom called in this Daniel person, this Daniel man. Who's this bearded man?
With this long flowing hair.
So that was kind of cool. But the one question that I was just like, what the fuck? The what the fuck question of this panel was... Nothing against Florida Geek Scene. Like, we haven't interacted with them at all. But it was a guy from Florida Geek Scene that was just like, if you guys were to go back in time with the Justice League and you were to go back to before the Big Bang and when the Big Bang was happening and you actually saw a hand opening, just like in Final Crisis, what would you do?
How surprised would you be?
How surprised would you be? That's what it was. How surprised would you be? And they're all like, what do you mean? What are you asking? Well, like, if you saw the big hand, like, what would you do? And everyone was like, what kind of fucking question is this? Like, what do you mean? And Brian, I felt like he's so, like, wrapped this question up better. He's like, do you mean, would I be surprised that God created all this? And he's like, oh, yeah, I guess, in a way. And Brian's like, yeah, I'd be surprised that, like, a God created all this. Like, it was so fucking funny.
Hilarious.
But the other question that I was just kind of like, why would you fucking ask him this? Was this guy in the front row, right, like a couple seats away from us, he was asking some questions that were just kind of like borderline rude. And the one that really got to me that I was just kind of like, I would rant on you on my podcast than I am right now. He was like, hey, Brian, we saw this picture of you on the episode in which you show off this picture of yourself from, like 5, 6, 7 years ago when you were really thin without a beard and you looked all right. What happened? I was like, why the fuck would you ever ask that? If you knew Brian Johnson, you know how he's already going through depression, and you're going to ask him this fucking question?
Right, in front of all these people.
In front of all these fucking people, and he's going to answer this? Like, what a fucking asshole. Like, fuck you, dude. And Brian, you know, to his credit, he took it as gracefully as he could, and he's like, you want to know the real fucking answer? I was on drugs. I was on drugs for several years, and I wanted to kill myself. And this is what it is now. And now I'm on a TV show, and I'm doing all right. And I wish he would have said, like, and fucking assholes like you are reminding me of that hard time that I had. Mm-hmm. Like, and that's what the little panel kind of sort of ended on. And I was just kind of like, what kind of fucking respect do you have for these guys? Where, how dare you ask one of these questions? Like, how the fuck... Why don't you focus on the positive that he has right now, the fucking TV show, instead of like, what happened to you, Brian? It was unbelievable to me. Right. I don't know if it was to you. Like,
it was. I agree. It's, you know, if you, what we like to do, you like to look up panels. You like to, you know, watch these guys when people put them up after conventions. If he had done any of that, he would have known this already, because he has addressed it before. I think when we went to see him at Wybry, he talked in length about it. Mm-hmm. You know, if you know anything about these people. But beyond that, you know, you shouldn't invade somebody like that, somebody that you don't know. And it was completely uncalled for.
Yeah, so kind of, I guess, continuing on that, before we'll end with something positive, but I want to go on to the next negative thing that fucking pissed me off, was at MegaCon they got these taxi guys that are on bikes, and they take you on your ride to your vehicle. Like, they make some money off of that, you know, you tip them a little bit or whatever charge they have. You can even call them on your cell phone to come pick you up if you don't feel like walking to your car. So what these guys do, and it's a smart thing to do, they wait at the exits of conventions. They're like, hey, you know, if you want to ride back to your car, if you're tired, you know, we're right here. You know, you don't have to get a ride. You don't have to say anything to them. And, you know, they're like, hey, ride right here, blah, blah, blah. And this one fucking guy right behind me pissed the fuck out of me. He was like, I think I can afford a little exercise, thank you. It's like, and the guy was like, oh, you can afford a ride back to your car too. Like, he could have been much ruder to him. Right. But my whole point was like, why do you have to say anything to him? Like, you know, this is his job. Mm-hmm. Like, I can afford a little exercise. Like, I was so close to turning around and just being like, shut the fuck up, dude. This is their job. This is their fucking living. And you're going to point out like, I don't need it because of this. Like, oh my god, that upset me. That upset me so much. I would have supported you. So much. And you know, again, credit to the taxi guy to not go off on him and just being like, well, you can afford the ride too. You know, that's a classy thing to do, I guess. But holy shit, like, just don't take the ride and you're fine. They weren't asking each one of the people, like, give me a response. Like, this guy went out of his way to be like, well, this is why I don't need a ride. It's so pissed me off.
Well, like, it does to me too. I guess I've gotten used to it because of the line of work that I work in. It's typically looked down upon. And it, you know, it's a cultural thing, and it sucks that people who work in jobs that are seen as lesser, like, oh, you don't sit in an office and have, you know, your own chair and meetings and all this kind of stuff,
name tag, right? Or some shit.
That they're not good enough, and so then people respond that way, and it's uncalled for.
Oh, like, it's like, oh, does that make you feel better?
Well, it's like, okay, well, we'll point out at work today, and this pissed me off way more than it should have. I'm standing there, and I see this thing roll past me, and I think it's a roach, I'm not going to lie. And I'm like, holy fuck! And it was a grape. And I look over, and there's these 3 kids, and one of them goes, we just threw a grape at your face, but it missed. And I went, so you fucking threw food on my floor, and you're not even going to pick it up. You're going to make me go pick it up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's shitty. That's shitty.
I got unreasonably angry. But it's, you just made more work for me, and you're a little shithead. Like, I was this close to walking up to one of them and be like, hey guys, is that your grape? Are you done with it? Are you going to go? Because they were like teenagers. Younger teenagers. I probably could have gotten away with it. But I just picked the grape and threw it in the trash.
It's so fucking unnecessary.
It was.
So fucking unnecessary.
Or like when I go to retail stores, I try stuff on. I go and I put it back on the rack where I found it in the way that I found it. It hung the same way, zipped up. If they had something buttoned, I buttoned it all the way up. Why am I going to make more work for them?
You try to leave the area the way you found it.
Exactly.
And if not, what harm is it doing to you to improve it a little bit? Well, it's their job. It's job security. No, it's not their fucking job for you to be an asshole and throw grapes on the ground or talk back to this fucking taxi guy or just ruin clothes. They have plenty of shit to do without your ass making it harder for them. And this is what this fucking taxi guy, he got to me so much. But I digress.
We got on a little rant.
Positives here.
Yes.
We're going to think positive here. We touched up on your Jurassic Park cosplay, which was
amazing,
spot on.
Man. Amazing, man. He even had the little, you can see it in the picture, he's got the badge to get him into the fucking rooms. This is Jurassic Park on it.
Not only that, but he had the cane with the fucking,
one of
fossilized...
his grandkids totally made that for him.
Well,
One of his grandkids is like, Gramps, we're going to go and you're going to wear this. You'll get babes. And he did. There I was.
He had his pimp cane with the fucking fossilized mosquito.
Speaking of which, Pimp Ash and Pikaho. That was amazing.
Yeah,
it was
true.
Ash Ketchum with this purple leopard robe on. Anyway, continue. Next amazing thing.
We saw some great Pokemon t-shirts. I think it was from LOL. It was from Level Up Studios. That's what it is. LevelUpStudios.com, I think, is the website you can go on. We saw the Peekaboo.
Yes.
Which
Love
was
that.
based on Nintendo's Boo Ghosts and Pikachu. It glows in the dark. And also, I saw the Bird Jesus, which is the Pidgeotto from Twitch Plays Pokemon. Has them in the fucking wings expanded in the halo, and then the Helix fossil right behind them.
Great.
It was great. They were out of stock at the time, but now they're back in stock, and you can find them at levelupstudios.com. Finally, the Amanda Connor.
Yeah.
We met her, and that was great for you, especially a woman artist, and gives you guys something.
Because I'm an artist too.
Yeah, that's true. You're
Buzz
true.
Lightyear.
You should. Oh, yeah, that's true. You should have told her. We thought about that later. I submitted as something, and that would have been great.
I should have taken it and have them sign it. They'd be like, "The fuck is this? Or, did you do this with your eyes closed and your toes or some shit?"
They would have been sweethearts.
No, they would have. They were great. They were great. But no, you did ask Amanda a question, and while it wasn't the answer that we wanted,
it answered the question. I did ask her, will you ever do a Harley Quinn book where you do the entire interiors and not just the covers like you have been doing? And she said, I've wanted to do the interiors. I really want to do it. Every time a book comes up, I really want to do the interiors. But she said she works way too slow. A cover takes her a very long time alone just to work on. And I told her, maybe an annual. Maybe annual number 2 or number 1 when Harley Quinn comes around. That gives you plenty of time to work on it. Even then, she was still I'd be way too slow to do it. And, like you said, it's not the answer we were looking for. But, we did get an answer. And... that explains why we haven't seen her.
Right. One thing I really liked about those two, Jimmy and Amanda, is they took time to talk to everybody.
Yeah.
She had people lining up after we were there, but, and I was ready to be like, okay, we'll see you later. But she kept talking to us. And, did you guys have trouble finding parking today? Just wanted to interact with us, and that was great. Jimmy was hilarious. I would have had drinks with Jimmy. We walked up. I just wanted to get a picture with him. I have a selfie. My hair looks all messed up, but whatever. And he was texting at the time. He's like, it's my favorite story of the weekend, I think. He's like, hold on, I'm trying to send this text, and I just typed grope instead of group. And you said... oh, so send now? And I said, well, that's way more fun. He goes, I like you. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti were great. They signed their Harley Quinn number 1. They were awesome, made conversation. Overall, a great MegaCon experience.
Great weekend. Exhausting. I was exhausted.
Oh, yeah.
But, totally worth it. I think we got home and crashed almost every night. But so worth it. I cannot wait for next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And with that, we're actually going to go ahead and take a break. We did say it was going to be a mega-sized episode. For you guys, it's going to be a couple of seconds before we move on to the comics for this week. For us, it's going to be a couple of hours.
We're going to go to sleep.
So we'll see you in a couple seconds. Stay tuned for our comic books for this week.
And we're back after a lovely rest. We finished up our news in the last segment, and now we're going to jump straight into comics.
We're going to start off first with our picks from last week, though. Since we were at MegaCon,
We didn't have cover all the comics from last week, but we each did pick out a comic that we really enjoyed and that you should pick up as well. It should still be out at every comic book shop. For me, it was Batman and Aquaman number 29. This one was written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Pat Gleason.
And for me, it was Anne Bonny number 1, written and drawn by Tim Yates, who was also at MegaCon.
Yeah, he was. I got a sketch commissioned of Anne Bonny. It was the cover, but without the face covered, so you could actually see the character's face on it. And so for the comics for last week, Batman and Aquaman, it is continuing the search for Robin. If you listen to that previews that we covered earlier, Batman is searching for Robin and his beloved, as I said.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
And in this comic, it's just Batman and Aquaman chasing Ra's al Ghul. At one point, he confronts little Damian's, like, mutated versions of Damian because they weren't quite developed fully. But they still have the strength of the clones that Ra's al Ghul ended up making by using these whales, and they birth from the whales. It's pretty fucked up. It's Grant Morrison bullshit, but, you know, they use it in the story because that's a part of the history of the character. And the whole time, like, you know, Batman and Aquaman are defeating all of Ra's guys, and Ra's is like, okay, so we have to escape. But as he's escaping, he's, like, so wordy about it, like, we have to go to the Amazonian island, and he's just letting Batman know exactly where he's going, because he wants Batman to follow him. Like, he wants Batman to be there for when he tries to resurrect his son and his grandson, so...
His son and
his grandson and his daughter.
No, his son and his grandson. Dolly is a man now.
Oh, no. So you're saying Batman's beloved is a guy? Okay, well, whatever you said. No. Superman's like, I think so.
And then Anne Bonny, number 1. I don't know if we've talked about it before. Maybe we saw a little preview when we talked about it in one of the comics. But it's me as a pirate.
It is Kelly as a pirate.
It's me as a pirate. Just what it is. It's all my dreams fulfilled. They kind of threw in some firebenders in there too. I don't know why, but I thought it was a great opening. It set up the story really well. I really like her character so far. And there's just so much that you can do with it. I know the books, Tim was saying that, you know, I'm writing and drawing. This is going to take a long ass time. I'm like, oh man. But really excited for number 2. It looks like it's me as a pirate. I don't know. I'm so excited.
I think issue 2 got solicited for June, but I think he had said July was when it would come out, right?
Probably, yeah.
So there you go. At least he's working on it. I know there's definitely a cover to it, to number 2, so work is definitely on the way. With that, we can jump into this week's comics, and then we'll cover our pick of the week for this week.
Yeah. First up, under Indie, we have Bravest Warriors number 18. Written by Breen Byrne and art by Mike Holmes.
More pirate adventures in this.
Yes! Catbug pirate adventures.
They just need a book with you and Catbug being pirates together on a ship.
Man,
that would just be great, wouldn't it?
That'd be the greatest comic ever. It would win Comic of the Millennium.
So, what'd you think of Bravest Warriors number 18? I know this writer he's one of the writers on the show, so he's actually on the comic putting out stories.
I really liked it. I thought it was... all the comics are very true to the show, but I felt this one was even more true. There was some gay innuendo in there.
Well, with Danny and Finn?
No, Danny and that thing.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
Yes, definitely. He's like, no, maybe tomorrow. And it's this little... It's a penis-shaped thing. I don't know if this is what I saw.
Some phallic symbol.
But it was really funny. It told a good story. It's a new arc, so this is a great jumping on point. If, you know, even if you guys haven't picked up any of them, it outlines the characters very well, I think. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too, especially at the very end with Catbug.
Yes.
If you like Catbug, this is an excellent issue. Not only is it jumping on point, but it's the second half of it gives you a ton of Catbug stuff. Again, that was Bravest Warriors number 18.
I think in this one, Catbug made me look at homeless people differently. I no longer have prejudice.
What do you mean?
Because homeless people are just pirates without a captain, and I went, I'm still scared of them though. But
that is what Catbug said,
yeah.
And it's a good message. Just pirates without a captain, and he rounded them all up, and he put them on his ship.
He stole the ship.
Yeah. Catbug is a badass.
He is.
Next is Silver Surfer number 1, written by Dan Slott with art by Mike Allred.
I really enjoyed this one too. I only know Silver Surfer is Dougie Jones. Mm-hmm. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, Silver Surfer is a really weird idea. Mm-hmm. What man went, let's put a surfer in space. Like, really?
Were you able to get the background to him when you were reading the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, they did line that up very well, so that even if you don't know anything about Silver Surfer like me, you could understand a little bit. I thought they set up the female protagonist really well, too.
Yeah.
Because I really liked her, and I kind of hated her fucking sister.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, oh, it's a love story. Woo!
It is going to be a love story, isn't it?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Because at the very end, not to spoil too much of it, but he gets chosen for some kind of like competition or something.
To save people from, I don't know.
Yeah, and the only way they kind of force him to do it by saying, we hold this person that you care about hostage, but the Silver Surfer does not know who that is. And so I guess the thing is they either know knowledge ahead of time. I don't know if they can kind of see or notice what story or what journey he will go on, and at one point he'll grow closer to this girl, and that's why they held her hostage. I'm not sure, but it's a good story. It's a good kickoff, great jumping on point, and a good series. Another good one by Dan Slott, it looks like.
Next is Superior Spider-Man number 30, written by Dan Slott and Christos Gage, with art by Giuseppe Camuncoli. The moment everyone's been waiting for, except for me, is here.
I think there's one more issue after this, number 31, and then that's it. This was actually my pick of the week.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't know what my pick is. We'll figure it out.
But Superior Spider-Man number 30, it's more of Doc Ock kind of realizing that he's let New York go to shit, and he can't really control Green Goblin or what Green Goblin has done. And now he's taking his love interest in the story, Doc Ock's, hostage as well. Kind of very similar to Gwen Stacy sort of situation. But this is the issue in which Doc Ock admits to Peter Parker, who, as we know, has been slowly getting back into his own mind and his own body. And he tells him, I'm not the Spider-Man that New York deserves. You are actually the superior one, not me.
You're the one it deserves, not the one it needs.
So, unfortunately, the way that Doc Ock has to come back is by erasing the way that Peter Parker has to come back is by Doc Ock erasing himself, including the good things that he's done as Spider-Man. So I don't know if that means Peter Parker won't remember these things either. And that'll just make it that much more tragic that Doc Ock did these great things and all of it's kind of gone now.
Well, it was all kind of gone the moment he let the goblins take over the city and be a shitty person.
I don't know. It was just that moment where he tells him, like, you're better, and then he's slowly disappearing, like half his face is gone. I'm like, no, Doc Ock! Don't go away!
It was a very emotional issue. I think it kind of made up for some of the bad issues that we had kind of in the middle there. I'm sad to see him go. I wish he would come back, because it was a great concept.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to read it for yourself and let us know what you think, we have the code. Go to marvel.com/redeem. It's TMA3JCRV0343.
Yeah, just head over to marvel.com/redeem. You can read Superior Spider-Man number 30 for yourself and feel bad for Doc Ock with us.
And cry a little bit.
Next is Adventures of Superman number 11, written by Jim Kruger, with art by Neil Edwards and Scott Hanna.
This one might be my pick of the week.
Really?
Yes. It was so dark. And I didn't care about Superman, but I cared about that Green Lantern. Mm-hmm. And it may just be because we've been watching Green Lantern to the animated series, so I'm, like, soft for Green Lanterns now.
Right.
I'm like, no, Lantern. It was a really dark issue.
It was pretty dark. If you want to outline real quick Adventures of Superman number 11, as we all know, Green Lanterns are in charge of several parts of the universe, of space. They have their own sector that they police. And we follow a Green Lantern who was supposed to police Krypton.
And it turns out the Guardians were like, fuck Krypton, let him die. But he feels such guilt, like, all these years that he just doesn't even want to live anymore. And he actually talks about trying to kill himself, but the ring just won't let him. Every time he's about to die, the ring saves him. Mm-hmm. And in the end, he gets what he wants.
Basically, someone informs him that there is one more person from Krypton still alive, which we all know is Superman. So he's like, I must see him. Where is he? So he heads over to Earth. He finds Superman, and obviously he finds him by being loud on Earth, starting to kind of destroy shit, and Superman will, of course, come.
Of course.
And he tells him, you have to kill me, because that will release me from my guilt. Since I can't kill myself, you have to do it, and it's only justice that a Kryptonian would do it, since I let you down. and Superman doesn't want to do it. He obviously doesn't kill. But that moment is what brings our Superman Loves moment of the week. So our Superman Loves Batman theme song.
Yes, this is a great moment. You actually found it this week. I will say that I didn't, but I was kind of rushing through comics because work is a nut house, and I work too much. But it's great. So he's telling him, you need to kill me because I was in charge of your planet, and I didn't, save them. And Superman's just crying because he loves Batman.
Well, he's crying because readers would think that I don't know why they would think Superman would just cry at this, but he's crying because he realizes that if it wasn't for this Green Lantern, he never would have met Batman. So they are actually tears of joy, and that was the.
You let my planet die, thank you, because then I could meet him.
I never would have met him. So that was the Superman Loves Batman moment of the week.
Amazing. But no, this was my pick. Yes, it was my pick. It told a very good story. If you like Green Lanterns at all, I think this is a good insight to, their failure, because you always see them so confident.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was definitely a good issue. With that, we can jump on to our Batman book for this week.
Mm-hmm. Batman the Dark Knight, number 29. This is the final issue, written by Greg Hurwitz, with art by Ethan Van Sciver.
Yeah, this wraps up the Papa Man-Bat story that we had.
Weird ass Papa Man-Bat.
Kirk Langstrom's dad is a super powerful Man-Bat, and Batman, of course, puts a stop to this. He can't pierce the guy's skin because the Man-Bat formula, whatever he took, is a lot stronger than Kirk's. So whenever he tried to pierce him with the antidote, it broke the needle. So he dressed up as Hobo Batman, like Hobo Bruce.
Love when he does that.
And he kind of became the victim to Man-Bat. So when Man-Bat tried to, started to drink his blood, he was actually drinking the antidote as well, because Batman laced his blood with the same stuff. And that's how he defeated Man-Bat. And I was like, yeah, he fucking got him again. And he just kind of endured the pain and the blood loss.
I was watching him like, that would go through your ribs, Batman.
Yeah.
You would be dead. Not, I feel it grazing my ribs. Like, that fucking went through your body.
But he works through the pain. That's what he does.
I don't know. He's got more muscles than I do, so maybe there's more room. I would be dead.
So once he kind of puts a stop to this guy, who of course escapes because he's super rich, he doesn't have to go to jail. But this guy kind of realizes that, well, he may be watching Gotham, and this is where the issue ends. He says Gotham is watching me right back, and it's Batman right outside his window back glaring him.
So
it's
cool.
Like, you're not going to do shit, asshole.
Overall, I thought the arc was kind of silly.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird ending. I wish they had ended it with that silent, 2-issue thing with Batman where he's like, so long, Mexican. Like, that one would have been good.
That would have been great. It's only because they're Mexican, Danny.
It was a better 2 issues than these. If they had just used Kirk, and maybe Kirk just used a better formula instead of introducing this new character, I think it would have been better, but I don't care about the villain here. He's just pure evil. There's no sympathizing side to him, which doesn't make for the greatest villain. So whatever. Batman the Dark Knight is over. One less book we have to buy every week. Mm-hmm. But, it was a fun ride while it lasted.
Next is Catwoman, number 29, written by Shali Fish, and art by Pat Oliphant.
We don't pick up the Catwoman books, but I did pick up number 29 because of the cover by Terry Dodson. If you go to any convention, you can buy a print, $10, $15, $20. For a comic book, you see the cover you like, you buy it for $3.99 or $2.99. So I'm like, if anything, this is going to make an awesome cover for the book and for the collection. And we actually read it because it wasn't written by Anna Senti.
And it was good. I enjoyed it.
You liked it because of the Batman-Catwoman interaction at the end.
Yeah, that too. That was a bonus.
Basically, Catwoman is hired to take this formula, or this Titan-ish sort of formula, or like a Venom derivative, by a client, and it's not revealed until the very end who the client is, but it's basically like a burglar story of if Catwoman, of course, she runs into trouble, so she has to escape that trouble, And what was your favorite part of the book? Was it that very end?
It probably, because this whole time I'm like, no, Catwoman, you can't do this. And then in the end, I'm like, yes, Catwoman, do this. It was really good. I thought it was a great insight to Batman and Catwoman's relationship and when they work best together. Mm-hmm. Right before they make out, of course. That's what I read. That's not what you read?
No, that's not what I read. I read Catwoman got really upset at Batman because Batman got her into trouble.
He was pretty smart, though.
He set off the alarm, right?
Yeah.
Right when she took the formula.
And he's like, I knew you'd get out. I'm like, you didn't know she'd get out. You just wanted to be a dick.
And that's what she was upset about. She even slaps him at one point.
It was great. It was a really good issue. I enjoyed it. If all of them could kind of follow this line, then I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, unfortunately on the inside cover it says guest writer Shally Fish, so oh well.
Well, good job, Shally.
And finally we have the Sandman Overture number 2 of 6. It's written by Neil Gaiman with art by J.H. Williams III.
This had a really long break.
Yeah, it was delayed. It was delayed. I believe it was Neil Gaiman that's actually not getting the book out in time.
Oh. Neil, come on.
Be reasonable, Neil. So this one, it's good. This is pretty much the setup issue. Mm-hmm. More setup than number 1 was. Number 2, it establishes the conflict in this arc, and kind of gives you an idea of the different Sandmen that are in different parts of the universe or in different parts in time. So it was kind of fun seeing him interact with himself the entire time.
It was. They were all different manifestations of himself, depending on who's dreaming.
Okay.
Which I thought was a really cool idea. So, for example, his companion that you're going to see, I guess, throughout most of it is a cat of himself, because he's in charge of cat dreams, is what he literally says in there somewhere. So it's all himself, but the really old guy who just disappears was from the first beings that could dream.
Oh, wow. And
he was still around because somewhere in the universe were those beings, and I guess they're being destroyed. I don't know. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of words, so it's difficult to follow a little bit, but it's still really cool. Mm-hmm. It was fun for me to read.
Basically, the stakes here are that the universe, something is going to come around that will put an end to all versions of him, including the rest of the universe. And at first, he's kind of like, well, all things come to an end. Of course, it's going to end. Why does it matter? But as he kind of continues to talk to himself and other people, he's seeing that this is something that he actually does have to worry about because it may come sooner rather than later, this end to the universe.
Right. It's also because of his actions is why this creature is still around to be destroying the universe. Mm-hmm. It's going to be himself.
You think so?
Bum, bum. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be himself.
It was good, though. It was a really good issue. Yep. I hope number 3 doesn't take forever to come out either, but I'm sure a lot of people are now like, I'll just get the trade if it's going to be delayed this much, because how many people are going to remember what happened in the first one?
When I pulled this out of our stack to read it, I was like, oh, did they restart it again? I was very confused.
So I don't think we had a pass of the week.
Mm-mm. I didn't have one.
My pick of the week was Superior Spider-Man number 30.
Mm-hmm. And mine was Adventures of Superman number 11.
Yeah, and that will do it for the comics this week and the podcast this week, the mega-sized MegaCon podcast.
So big that we had to go to sleep.
So I hope everyone enjoyed it. It was a good break. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, so much fun.
And we can't wait to go to MegaCon again next year. Mm-hmm. You can find us on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke. Let us know what made you broke this week. #ReasonsI'mBroke.
We also put the podcast up on YouTube. You can check us out there. Just search The Reasons I'm Broke. We also have unboxings up. I think our most recent is still the Harley Quinn bombshell. But it's great. Definitely check those out as well.
You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
And we're also up on Stitcher as well, so you can now listen to us on the go.
On your favorite Android device or iDevice. You can even, actually, I think it works on tablets as well.
That's awesome.
Automatically downloads the latest episode and everything. Pretty good. It works really well. I use it for some of the other podcasts I listen to.
You're supposed to talk to me in the car, not listen to your podcasts.
And also, of course, we're up on iTunes. Make sure to subscribe. Just search The Reasons I'm Broke.
Leave us a rate, review, comment. It helps other people find us.
But that'll do it for this week. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Kelly.
See you next week.